Late May, and the focus of the tennis world is on Paris and the French Open. For the 60th year, Stade Roland-Garros the scene for one of the Grand Slam championships of tennis. Roland Garros was not a tennis star, but a World War I hero, a flying ace, an aerial pioneer who died in combat. He was to France what Rickenbacker and Lindbergh were to the U.S. This year, the French celebrate the 50th anniversary of American Don Budge's Grand Slam. He won here in 1938 en route to that rare tennis sweep of the Big Four. 20 years ago, 1968, the first Grand Slam event of the Open tennis era was here. An all-Australian final. Ken Rosewall beat Rod Laver. Also a significant part of French Open history, 1955, Tony Trabert, the last American man to win in Paris, a U.S. drought of 33 years on the demanding slow red clay of Roland Garros. In recent years, the tennis triumphs in this great city have been truly memorable. In 1983, Yannick Noah became the first French man in 37 years to win on his home court as he beat Mats Wilander in the final, and then celebrated in a special way that emotional, dramatic victory with his father. '84 in Paris will long be remembered not only for Yvonne Lendel's first French win, but the fact that John McEnroe did not. McEnroe denied what seemed a sure victory after winning the first two sets. 1985 and 1986 belonged to Chris Evert, beating Martina Navratilova both years in 3 dramatic sets. Chris and the Championship of France, a relationship that has become an all-time record, 7 French titles for Evert. Last year, Yvonne Lendl, #1 in the world, won his 3rd title in Paris, defeating another former French champion, Mats Wilander. Lendel's hard-hitting, unerring style has made him the man to beat again in 1988. In last year's women's final, the youngest ever French female champion, Germany's Steffi Graf, age 17, a 3-set winner over Navratilova, Graf's first Grand Slam title. So on the terre battue of center court, Roland Garros, French tennis history continues. It's the 1988 French Open Tennis Championships. NBC Sports proudly presents the 1988 French Open.
Typical spring day here in Paris, some sun and some storm clouds. And speaking of storm clouds, Andre Agassi has taken the city by storm. The fans love him here. He's got a tremendous flair for the game, that big forehand, and as you see here on the screen, he can move very quickly. Against him today is Magnus Gustafsson. He's a Swedish player, 21 years old. He has also got a big forehand and loves to serve hard. He's going to take all those shots he can at Agassi. They'll both be hitting the ball very hard at one another. And I think it's the player that can be the most consistent with those tough, hard ground strokes that will win the match.
Well, both Agassi and Gustafsson have had a marvelous week. 3 matches, neither has dropped a set. What do you like about young Andre Agassi?
There is so much to like. He's an atypical American tennis player. Playing tennis is a game. It's fun. It's not 10 years of hard labor. He laughs, he enjoys himself, but while he's doing that, he's hitting dynamite strokes. Nothing not to like about Agassi.
And he brought out those rockets in the first set, built a 5-3 lead against Gustafsson, and was serving for the set when there was a most unusual and uncommon tennis occurrence.
Never before on TV.
A net fault. Well, that demanded about a 20-minute delay. They had to find the right net. They finally secured a new net in place. And, well, Stan Smith, I wonder if he's ever seen it. You've never seen that, have you, Bud?
Has your net sagged lately?
How about that? Even in a hacker's game, it's enough to get you back on your heels. Well, let's ask a former champion. Stan, have you ever seen it?
I never have, Dick. You know, I think they're going to take the price of the net out of Agassi's prize money. He's been playing here for 3 days, and the net just had enough. It's just too much for it. But it's unusual for the players to have to sit there and wait for 15 minutes in this cold weather. It's nice and windy down here. We've got Gustafsson was very fortunate with his delay because he was complaining about his shoes. They brought some shoes that are too small. Now he's got some brand new shoes that he hopefully will be able to play better with and move and not slip quite as much.
So it happens at a critical point for Agassi, serving for the set at 5-3. New shoes, Gustafsson.
He's going to need him to keep up with this kid's shot making. The net going was like a fighter, Dick, who's been punched a lot of times and just collapsed.
0-15.
And you don't know which was the knockout punch. I saw an Australian. I mentioned Roscoe Tanner knocking out a net at the U.S. Open in '79. I saw an Australian, Bob Gilton, do it in Sydney in 1973 on a serve.
15-all. 3 points from the set.
15.
Jean-Louis Fortescue, middle right of your net, is the net judge.
Just wide, 2 points from the set. Andre Agassi, who has not lost a set in his previous 3 matches here in Paris. And Gustafsson has not lost one either. There's that kick serve that would have
And
taken.
Gustafsson looking in the first row for it.
Off the line. 30-all. Again, complimenting his opponent on a critical point. And a chance to break now for Gustafsson.
If Gustafsson can keep Agassi deep, well behind the baseline, he's going to negate quite a bit of that power. Andre likes to be right there when he hits the ball, inside that baseline.
And then he dictates the ball. He's inside the court, isn't he? Now, Gustafsson's had some chances. Remember, way back in the first game, he had 3 break chances, but couldn't deliver against Agassi's serve. Another one lost here in game 9.
Avantage Gustafsson.
It's the 7th break point that Gustafsson has held.
And he breaks.
Gustafsson.
It's 5-4, Agassi.
Agassi mène pas 26-4. Balle 9, s'il vous plaît. Balle 9.
Magnus Gustafsson denying Agassi the first set. Now serving to try to take the 5-all.
He likes that inside-out forehand.
It was wide. 15-all. Court 1. This wonderful facility near the Bois de Boulogne, west side of Paris. Packed, 4,500. Another 17, 18,000 next door at center court.
This stadium really made the place to have a secondary arena.
And like Court 1 at Wimbledon, much more intimate. You hear the sounds, you feel the speed of the game. It's terrific spectator spot.
Net cord.
15-40.
So 2 chances for Agassi to return the favor, break back, and win the set. What did that happen?
Oh!
And he returned to that ball.
2 bad bounces. So they were even.
30-40.
Agassi had put so much of a cut on that ball. Watch how it reacts.
Petit long, s'il vous plaît.
Let's see if that's a... My word, it just was strange, and the spin is still working in favor of Gustafsson.
And the set to Agassi.
Agassi.
6-4.
Deuxième manche aux avis Agassi.
5 service breaks in that set, and the 5th to Agassi, and a 6-4 score.
And 10 consecutive sets he's won in Paris.
15-0.
You could see in that last shot the dark gray clouds here in Paris today and the threat of rain.
Where Gustafsson way left, and of course you can go down the middle, as Andre did.
15-1.
That laugh from Agassi himself at missing that forehand.
You'll hear that when he makes a bad shot. Self-deprecating laugh.
There's the possible weather coming. Better be ready. Agassi gets the ball and he's ready to serve it.
Tronda.
Now, that's
Excellent, s'il vous plaît.
the call of
S'il
fault
vous plaît.
from the machine before the ball was served. Pedro Bravo on that line had the button in his hand.
30-40.
Still another chance for Gustafsson to break Agassi. He's had several opportunities and only converted a couple of times that first set. And another lost opportunity. Opening game, second set. Agassi 6-4 in the first. Deuce.
Avantage. Agassi.
Andre's first attempt at serve and volley. He did it well.
Agassi.
Game to Agassi. He leads with a win in the opening set and takes the first game of the second.
Deuxième manche.
As they continue to towel off on center court, let's reflect on yesterday's action. And John McEnroe, the oldest, left at 29 against the youngest, 16-year-old Michael Chang of California. This is the second set. McEnroe serving 2-3. We're going to show you this game because it reflects all of McEnroe. They're an easy forehand winner. There are times where his game has been a little loose, but basically he's been quite brilliant, hasn't he, Bud?
Very solid, very relaxed. Says he has moved on mentally to a placid state of mind, and he's looked it around here. He said, let's put the past behind me.
15 ans.
And Chang is the subject of a little bit of a controversy involving McEnroe. McEnroe believes Chang has turned pro too young at 16. Chang has retorted, well, John doesn't know my situation. He said, I've run out of opponents in the American juniors. John went to college for a year. I've played a lot of college players. I beat them. It was time for me to turn pro. Well, we'll see, but McEnroe gave him a welcome to the big leagues kid with a bagel in the first set, and Chang said, I've never played against anybody who plays like McEnroe. Well, Michael, no one else has either.
So that forehand made it 30 all. McEnroe would win 6-love, 6-3, 6-1. And now some of the brilliance as he really gave Chang a textbook lesson in championship tennis. The touch, watch the anticipation.
McEnroe is a potential winner of this championship.
40
He comes in here saying, I'm a long, long shot. Everything that I do positively is good.
Yeah, but he'd have to beat Lendl tomorrow, and
Exactly.
it would be a rough trip for him, but
I think he's capable of beating Lendl.
McEnroe has not lost a set in his first 3 match wins of this French. And now you've seen the power and the anticipation, a little McEnroe touch.
But we wish the rookie pro Chang well. He's a good athlete, a good competitor.
And judging from the crowd reaction in Paris to McEnroe, they wish him well. Well, let's move ahead now to our featured match of the day. Agassi won the first set at 6-4, broke Gustafsson early in the second set, leads 5-2 in the second. Gustafsson serving to save the second set.